One drop of blood, hundreds of medical tests, results in minutes. It would change healthcare forever. Except it didn't work. Not even once. And for more than a decade, almost nobody checked. This is the story of Theranos, a company once valued at $9 billion, built on technology that barely functioned, led by Elizabeth Holmes, the woman who became the youngest self-made female billionaire in America. By convincing the world she had reinvented medicine, she didn't just sell product, she sold the future, and the most powerful people on earth bought it. The real question isn't how she lied. It's why everyone wanted to believe her. The promise. Here was the dream. Traditional blood testing is slow. Needles, vials, laboratories, days of waiting. Holmes offered something radical. A finger prick, a tiny cartridge, a small machine, and suddenly, hundreds of results. Faster diagnoses, cheaper healthcare, early detection of deadly diseases. If true, it would save lives. And that moral power made skepticism feel almost cruel. The dropout who looked like destiny. Holmes was 19 when she left Stanford University. In Silicon Valley, that isn't alarming. It's mythology. Drop out. Build the future. Become a next jobs. She leaned into it. Black turtlenecks. Minimalist stages. Carefully scripted presentations. A Voice employees later said she deliberately lowered. Investors didn't just see a founder. They saw a pattern they desperately wanted to repeat. Borrowed credibility. If the science was uncertain, the names were not. Theranos built one of the most famous boards in corporate America. George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, generals, senators, political royalty. What they didn't have was experience in laboratory diagnostics, but their reputations created a shield. If people this powerful believed, who were you to doubt? The machine. The device was called the Edison. It was supposed to run test after test from microscopic samples. There was only one problem. It kept failing. Results drifted. Machines broke. Controls didn't pass. By the mid-2000s, many employees knew. Holmes kept presenting certainty. Because in startup culture, doubt can look like weakness. And weakness kills funding. The partner. Holmes wasn't alone. Ramesh Sunny Balwani became her boyfriend and business partner. He ran operations, enforced the culture of secrecy, intimidated employees who questioned results. Together, they built a system designed to hide failure. Years later, both would stand trial. Fake it, but in medicine. When the Edison failed, Theranos did something extraordinary. They used traditional machines from other companies, then told the world the Edison had done the work. Real patients, real diagnoses, real consequences. Inside the company, teams were isolated from each other. Questions triggered legal threats. Dissent meant dismissal. Secrecy wasn't protecting innovation. It was protecting the illusion. The partnership that made it real. In 2013, Theranos signed a deal with Walgreens. Testing centers appeared in stores across America. Now, this wasn't a beta test. It was real healthcare, real patients, real blood, real consequences, and the technology still didn't work. The people who broke the spell. The story might have continued for years, but a few people refused to stay quiet. One of them was Tyler Shultz, the grandson of board member George Shultz. Another was Erica Chung, a young lab worker. They saw results that didn't make sense. They pushed internally. Nothing changed, so they went outside. They spoke to John Carreyrou at the Wall Street Journal. The article, October 2015, the Wall Street Journal published. The headline destroyed years of myth in minutes. Theranos technology, the investigation showed, couldn't do what it claimed, had never done what it claimed. Holmes went on television, accused critics of trying to stop progress, called the article lies, threatened lawsuits, but regulators were already moving. Collapse. Inspections revealed severe failures. Patients were told previous results might be unreliable. Partnerships evaporated. The valuation fell from billions to almost nothing. By 2018, Theranos was finished. The trial. Prosecutors argued Holmes knew. Emails proved she'd been warned. Employees testified she ignored red flags. Her defense: belief isn't fraud. Optimism isn't a crime. But the jury saw something else. Not ambition gone wrong. Deception by design. In 2022, the verdict came. Guilty on 4 counts. 11 years in prison. The visionary founder became inmate number 2496511. Why this worked? Because the story was perfect. A young woman. A revolutionary idea. A broken system ready to be disrupted. Investors wanted transformation. Media wanted inspiration. Politicians wanted innovation. And demanding proof would slow everything down. Momentum is addictive, even when it's heading toward a cliff. The real damage. Some patients received false positives. Imagine panic for a disease you don't have. Others received false negatives. Imagine reassurance when you're actually sick. Trust in medicine is invisible until it shatters. The myth that survived. Theranos died, but the environment that built it didn't. Silicon Valley still rewards certainty, still elevates charisma, still funds narratives, because belief travels faster than verification. It always has. The warning. Elizabeth Holmes promised a revolution in a drop of blood. What she revealed instead was how fragile truth can be when power, money, and optimism align. Because the final test was never technological. It was credibility. And once credibility collapses, no machine can rebuild it. If you want more stories about ambition, power, and the moments where belief collides with reality, like and subscribe. The next one is already waiting.